On episode 739 of Into Your Head, something about cats learning accountancy and toy bulletproof vests versus toy bullets, and will they work, and something, I don't know, the usual crap that you've come to expect, unless you're new, in which case it's not the usual crap that you've come to expect. It's something much better than that. It's much better. Wherever you are, you've come to the right place now, I can tell you. You've come to the Into Your Head podcast. Hello. Here's some music and then we'll start the show. Absolutely. I've made it already. I record this afterwards. To be perfectly honest, on this occasion I've only made 7 minutes of the show, and I'm doing this as a break. On my break I decide to do this. So anyway, suffice to say, stuff. Into your head. Cats walk into a bar. One of the cats goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please?" And the man behind the bar says, "Certainly, young man. What kind of my finest Guinness would you like?" And the cat says, "How can you have more than one type of your finest Guinness?" And the man behind the bar says, "Oh, you leave that to me, young man. You leave that to me. I'm the expert in here. I'm the one whose name is over the bar and behind the colon, which in turn is behind the word proprietor, although it is shortened in a rather vulgar way, if you don't mind me saying so, to prop. Full stop. There's no need to shorten the word proprietor. If you're going to go to the trouble of putting up the word proprietor over my bar, which I am, except it was 30 years ago. It's the me of 30 years ago that's doing this. Although it's in fairness in those days. In those days I was new to the trade and I did what I was told. The sign fella said, "Oh, you can only put the prop and abbreviate. You can't put the whole word proprietor up there. If you do that, you'll have architectural structural problems with your roof 30 years from now." Turns out he was either wrong or lying. If I was him, I would have said you put up the word proprietor, because he'd be charging by the letter. You would have made more out of that. Maybe I should have been in the sign business instead of the running a place with a sign on top of it business. I don't know. Anyway, no, we've several types of my finest Guinness. Which one would you like? And the cat says, "Well, I don't know what ones you have yet. Have you got a menu or something, or do you want to just speak them out to me, or what?" And the man behind the bar says, No, sir. This is like a deli. You come in and tell me what you want on your sandwich and I'll just make it. You don't go looking at a menu. You wouldn't go into a deli and say, can I have a menu-nized list of all the things that you put on your sandwiches, including butter, margarine, tomatoes, onions, scallions, different. Maybe you do, but in here you don't. No. So which of my finest Guinnesses would you like? And the cat says, "I suppose, in the absence of any information which you seem unable or unwilling to give me, I suppose I'll just take the nearest one to see whatever one's easiest for you." And the man behind the bar says, "Certainly, sir. I'll be back in about an hour." And a great night is had by all except the cat, who's just sitting there waiting to be served. Nobody else turns up behind him, and he starts to think, maybe this bar isn't as popular as I've been led to believe. Although who am I to say? Who am I to dictate to the world how busy this bar is? That's the job of whoever signs off on the published accounts. Are they published accounts? I don't know. I presume this is a private sole trader business. Do they have to publish their accounts? I don't know. I think they have to put something in the company's registrator's office. I'm not sure, although maybe they don't. I don't remember my accountancy very well. For one thing, I'm a cat, unlike the narrator who's narrating me here. He studied accountancy, but that doesn't mean I know anything about accountancy just because I've been created in his mind. Christ, no. And even if I did, I wouldn't be qualified to practice accountancy being a cat. You have to be a man or a woman between the ages of 16 and 185 to register as an accountant. I assume, anyway. I've never seen an upper age given, but I assume if I went in there and said I'm a 194-year-old male cat, I assume they'd ask questions, even if we were able to resolve the issue of me being a cat. And I said, oh, I was only joking about the cat. They'd still have questions to ask about me being 194 years old. They'd say, do you not think that's too old for a cat to be an accountant? And I'd have to say, yes, I do, but that's not for me to decide. That's why I've come to the regulatory body, so you can make a decision. You regulate this professional, this profession, and I'm happy to abide by your decision, as long as it's not ageist or anything like that. I wouldn't want you to make an ageist decision. Well, apart from that, no. And they'd probably have to say, oh, we better let him in, I suppose. He seems to have all his qualifications. When did you finish your exams, your accountancy final exams? And you'll say, oh, I finished them, and we didn't really finish them. I dropped out of college in the mid-1990s sometime. But I feel I know enough about the world. I've lived a bit. I've been to the University of Life of Accountancy. And they'd have to say, sir, well, sir, that's great. I'm sure you have. But does the University of Life tell you about all the new accounting standards that come out every year, all the changes in the rules regarding taxation and all the rest of it? And the cat will have to say, no, I'm afraid it doesn't. But sure, that sort of stuff you just pick up as you go along, don't you? A bit like a street sweeper. Although they're probably not allowed to pick stuff up anymore. They make them use that thing with the claw, and you pick it up and you put it in your bucket. You're not allowed to touch it at all. Probably have to wear gloves as well, and a yellow jacket thing, in case some bird comes along and crashes into their chest or something. What happens if you're wearing a bright luminous vest because you're out working on the road and the bird comes along and smashes into your face? Well, you probably get killed or maimed or something. But what would happen to the industry after that? Would they have to make extra health and safety regulations regarding covering your face or making your face more luminous? They'd probably say you have to use luminous bulletproof face paint or something, or someone would come on, and then there'd be a great boom in the luminous bulletproof face paint industry, and then there'd be a big furore over whether children should be allowed to play with bulletproof paint. And people will say, oh, that's not real bulletproof paint, that's just toy bulletproof paint, like the toy guns that you let them play with. There'll be a big controversy. Every talk radio show in the middle of the night will be saying, do you let your child play with toy guns? Do you let your child play with toy bulletproof things? If you're a responsible parent, you give them proper bullet. Could you make a bulletproof vest that was only bulletproof against toy bullets? That'd probably be the answer to it all. Anyway, I've always been a great believer in the dictum. Let's see, what will we do today? A bowl full of paper clips may contain traces of staples, broken staples or broken off staples, which themselves it's unfair to call broken. Just because a staple is separated from the line of staples to which it comes assembled, doesn't mean the staple itself is broken. It may mean it's useless. The whole staple industry. I've learned everything from frigging bees. They look at hornets' nests and they say, they don't work at all unless they're all together in a swarm of bees. So we're going to do the same with staples. So they said, these staples, we'll stick them all together. Now, they didn't go for the queen bee thing. There's no queen bee of staples. They just stick them all together in a line uniformly. Like some stationery version of George Orwell's 1984, where everybody dresses the same and they all do what they're told. And if you're next in line to be glued to the paper, then you just go through the staple gun, someone presses down on your head, and you're stuck to that couple of pieces of paper for as long as it's needed. And then you're thrown out. They usually either rip you out and then put the paper through a shredder, or else they just leave it in and scrunch the whole thing up and throw it in a bin. or else they put it on file somewhere for hundreds upon hundreds of years. Or maybe you're in a magazine, maybe you're in the Journal of Science, and someone keeps a copy of you in a dusty basement library. I used to work in a dusty basement library. Well, I had a dusty basement section. I didn't work in the basement section, but I went to the dusty basement section at times, and there were journals there, I could tell you, from the 1920s and 30s, scientific journals that people had written in that say, oh, a study on whether it's viable. A study on whether it's viable for cats to be shoved into an empty can of Emerge energy drink. What does that even mean? I don't know. Not my responsibility. The content of the books. No. I had other responsibilities relating to the books, but I wasn't responsible for writing. Contrary to popular opinion, people who work in libraries don't write the books. They do not. They just take charge of them. They take custody of them. They buy them in and rent them out. No, they're just the go-between between the author and the whoever prints them and whoever wants to read them. There always has to be someone in the middle in these things. It's just like with drugs. You wouldn't go straight up to a drugs factory. There's a factory not far from here that makes Viagra pills, if I remember rightly. I don't know if they make those ones there, but they make something there. I can tell you, they've a plant there and they make pills or medicines of some kind. If I wanted pills and medicines of some kind, though, I wouldn't go up to their factory door and knock on the door and say, hello, I'll take half a bottle of those, please. You'd be shoved out in your ear. Some prison guard style uniformed fellow will come up and say, hello, I'm security, can I help you, sir? And you'd say, I very much doubt it. You're probably not equipped to dispense this sort of thing. No offence, I'm sure you do. Whatever you do, I'm sure you do it very well. In fact, you do it very well right now, because I barely had my hand on the doorbell before you were down on me like a ton of bricks. It leads me to wonder why you have a doorbell at all if you take offence every time someone tries to use it. Jesus Christ, how don't you just take down the doorbell and put a sign saying, you will not have noticed that we have no doorbell or door locker or no system whatsoever of for you to let us know that you want to come into our building. Learn what you will from that fact, and then leave it at that. I suppose some people will ignore a sign like that, and even if there's no sign there, they'll ignore the meaning of the absence of the sign in the absence of any doorbells. That's why they have to employ a security guard, and long may they thrive, as long as they don't beat anyone up. It's one thing I can't abide is being beaten up by a security officer. I can tell you it's never happened to me, and there's no coincidence in that, because I don't let them. I don't let security. I wouldn't fucking. What the fucking hell am I talking about? I don't know. What are you talking about? There's the question. You're probably talking about something equally meaningless. It's just not meaningless to you because it involves your life and your job or whatever it is that you do, and you're yapping about it there. You're probably going on about your milk deliveries or something, or your calf deliveries. What's the difference between delivering a calf and delivering milk? There's a question for you. You'd have to ask the farmers' maids about that, or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe that's just general knowledge nowadays. It's not really much of a secret. Why would you keep that secret? Maybe you should. See, the youngsters would be going up to farms in the middle of the night and delivering calves, just for the sheer hell of it, and then just leaving the calves there to get on with their lives, just like they used to before there were humans here. I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of Greenpeace thing. They're into they're into non-artificial animal lives. They want these livestock to be set free. So they grow up and they say, I want that cow thing to have a natural birth. So they grow up and they drag the baby cow out of the cow, and then they check that it's okay, and they just leave it there in the hay for the farmer to come back and have a look at the next day. And it's just to prove that it can stay alive in the well for several bars without a human being there. The irony, of course, is that they're not proving anything like that at all, because they take great care to make sure that the calf is okay. I suppose it's more of an experiment than a proof, but hopefully, anyway, that's how the world works anyway.
Into your head.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener. Email Neal at studio@intoyourhead.com.
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you. Just click through the Amazon link at intoyourhead.com whenever you go shopping for anything, even if you use Amazon UK or Canada. We'll take your weird foreign money here. We're not proud. Just visit intoyourhead.com and click on the appropriate Amazon banner.
This is a prelude to the opening segment of the second half of today's episode of Into Your Head podcast. There's no purpose to this, no purpose whatsoever. Just like in the Queen song, we serve no purpose like a bloody circus. It was on Was It All Worth It? It was an extra song on it was a B-side on one of the ones on their later stuff. I wouldn't get too worked up over. Basically, there's a Queen song that goes, was it all worth it? Was it all worth it? And then it ends at the end. He goes, yes, it was worth it. And then he dies of AIDS. Or something. That's what happened to your man, Queen. He ended up dead. How he ended up dead is irrelevant. It's not the route that matters. It's the destination. And we're all going to the same destination, I can tell you. So don't be getting up on your high horse over Freddie-Mercury, because you're going to be dead soon one day. I can tell you, they're not going to say, how did you get here? And you'll say, oh, I took the high road. I took the N7 through to the N9, and then I went over the Red Cow roundabout, and then I got onto the M50, and then I went over the toll bridge and paid my way. Unlike Freddie Mercury, who just sat around making music for 25 years, and then he died. I took the high road. Oh no, they're not even going there. You're going to be very disappointed when no one asks you, did you go the high road or the low road? Did you have a band? That's all you want to be asked. You're sitting around being all high and mighty, not being in a band, just so that someday, if someone happens to think to ask you, are you in the band, you can stand up proudly and say, no, I was not in a band, unless a rubber band counts. Ho ho ho! I don't even have one of those. Never seem to. You never have a whole bag of rubber bands. You get one or two that just happen to come with something, and you say, I'm going to put these away in my stationery box just in case they ever come in handy. But no, you claim that you're going to have a use for 2 or 3 rubber elastic bands during your life, but you also claim that you're not going to have enough need for you to splash out a whole bag of 100 of them. So either nail your trousers to the ass if you think you're going to want electric, I don't know, rubber bands. Surely you're going to need at least 100 during your life. So buy a bag of the fucking things. Don't be fucking have a bag of uniform rubber bands, or they probably come mixed. They probably have a mixed bag of rubber. That's probably what you're worried about. You're worried you'll get a mixed bag of rubber bands, and there'll only be 2 sizes or colours of them in there that will be of any use to you, and the rest will go to waste. You can't. If there's one thing you can't stand, I can tell you, it's waste. Well, you're not special in that. The rest of us hate waste too. We just realise that sometimes it can't be avoided. Sometimes you can't avoid waste. So get that into your thick skull and stop trying to make out you're better than Freddie Mercury, for Christ's sake. Anyway, 2 Freddie Mercurys walk into a bar. One of the Freddie Mercurys goes straight up to the bar counter and says, hello, we are wondering if you'd have a spot for a Freddie Mercury tribute band. And the man behind the bar says, oh, a Queen tribute band, you mean? Oh, certainly interested in that. We're all great big fans of Queen around here. And the Freddie Mercury says, no, I was wondering if you'd like just a Freddie Mercury tribute band who just does the solo work of Freddie Mercury. And the man behind the bar says, well, you only had about 2 albums, and one of them was Opera with What's Her Name, and one of them was just a compilation of bits and pieces thrown together. He barely did any solo work at all. And the Freddie-Mercury says, do you mean he or do you mean you? You do realise who you're talking to, don't you? And the man behind the bar says, yes, I do. I'm talking to a Freddie-Mercury professional imitator. And the Freddie-Mercury says, professional imitator says, indeed I am, but apparently you don't consider me real enough to talk to me in character. And the barman says, well, I'm not in character, you see, I'm a real barman. So for me, a real barman, to talk to someone who's in character as Freddie Mercury, that would be like talking to someone in another dimension. They haven't found a way to do that yet, unless of course you're a real Freddie Mercury and you're talking to you through some sort of time portal. Now that would impress me, I can tell you. But if you're able to do that, surely you'll be able to reform the band. Now, would you get the band from back in your time, the other side of the time portal, or would you get the band as they are today? Because frankly, I don't want to disappoint you, but the band as they are today are going a bit nuts. One of them's running a Save the Badgers campaign. One of them's pretty much hasn't said a word in 20 years, and the other fella has just grown a beard. Roger Taylor, he's grown a beard, presumably to distinguish himself from the other Roger Taylor, who I believe is a drummer in Duran Duran. Thank Christ they're not named after two people both called Duran, because that would be even more confusing. You'd have Roger Taylor from Queen, Roger Taylor from Duran Duran, and then you'd have Duran from Duran Duran, and then you'd have the other Duran from Duran Duran. Surely to Christ they'd have to give one of them a nickname. Maybe they could do a swap, an exchange, where they swap one of the Duran names with, I don't know, with Brian May from Queen, and Brian May from Queen could be called Duran, and then there'd only be one Duran in Duran Duran, and there'd be a Brian May in Duran Duran, and there'd be another Duran, and he'd be Brian May and Queen, but he'd take the name Duran. I'm probably overcomplicating this, am I? And the Freddie-Mercury says, so you're not interested then in my act, I suppose? And the man behind the bar says, now there's no need to be negative. I didn't say that. If I was going to say that, I'd say it. I'd be honest, but I wouldn't say it like that. I'd say it in my own voice for a start. I wouldn't just get you to say it. I wouldn't just get you to say, so you're not interested then. No, I'd stand up and have the balls to say it myself to your face. I'd say, I'm not interested. I don't know how to do ventriloquism anyway as it is, so I wouldn't be able to say it through your voice. And Freddie-Mercury impersonator says, I've lost you there. And the man behind the bar says, now don't get all down about this. Don't get all depressed. You have indeed lost me there, and I've lost you there. But maybe we never found each other in the first place. Has that occurred to you? Is that another Freddie-Mercury over there with you who's gone down for a seat? Would he like a pint of my finest Guinness? And the Freddie-Mercury fella says, I forgot about that. I was supposed to be ordering around 2 pints of your finest Guinness, please. And the man behind the bar says, I must admit, I wouldn't have thought of Freddie-Mercury as the sort of fella who drinks Guinness. And the Freddie-Mercury up at the bar says, well, that's the thing. That's what distinguishes a real Freddie-Mercury impersonator from a fake one. A real Freddie-Mercury impersonator would drink Guinness because he knows that's something that the real Freddie-Mercury wouldn't do, and he knows his place as an impersonator. So if you ever get a Freddie-Mercury impersonator in here refusing to order Guinness, then you know he's just a bit too full of himself, or a bit too full of Freddie Mercury, or thinks he's a bit too full of Freddie Mercury, when in fact he isn't. The opposite is the case. And the barman says, I see. Anyway, where are we going with this? And the Freddie Mercury impersonator says, I think we're going down here to this corner in the seat. Me and my friend are going to have a couple of pints of Guinness and then see what happens. We'll see what happens, or else we might hear what happens, because stuff can happen that's aural as well as visual, in this world. Something happening doesn't have to be a visual thing, it can be an aural thing. People love to say that. They say, we'll see what happens. Maybe you won't see what happens unless someone puts subtitles on it. Has that occurred to you? And the barman says, it hasn't occurred to me, but as it happens, I've never really thought about it. So I haven't technically ruled it out. So I can claim not to have been ignorant about the matter. It just has never come up. And the Freddie-Mercury impersonator says, you're damn right about that. You're damn right about that. Would you like me to do a medley? And the barman says, no thanks. Now go and sit down and shut your stupid ugly face. And a great night is had by all.
You're listening to Into Your Head, hosted by Neal, Ireland's version of the Octomom. Except he's a dude. And has cats.
Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. They call them big steaming. Do I sound any different than I did in the previous segment? There's a question for you. Because I just brushed my teeth. I didn't take a break specifically to brush my teeth. I took a break to go and urinate in the downstairs toilet, stopping off to check had any post arrived through the letterbox. I decided, well, I'm in the downstairs toilet, which is my chosen place of toothbrushing. When I'm downstairs, I decide to brush my teeth. Now I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking most people don't brush their teeth downstairs. Well, I do half the time, because I like to brush my teeth after dinner. And like most normal people, I have my dinner downstairs and then I go for a piss. So I keep a spare set of toothbrushing apparatus downstairs. Call me old-fashioned. I think if you're going to fill up bits of a dead cow into your mouth and get bits of them stuck between your teeth, you should have equipment ready to get rid of them at the earliest possible moments thereafter, so that you don't go around looking like someone who's just eaten a cow, looking like a fucking savage. No, because that stuff could rot in your teeth, and then it could rot your teeth, and then you'd have no teeth left, and you just end up looking probably much better if you can afford it, because you get a set of real fake teeth that look very realistic, but I'd rather have a set of real teeth that look very realistic, or would I rather real teeth that look very unrealistic? I don't know. I could keep them in such good condition that they look unrealistically good for a man of my age. Is that something to be strived for? Well, I suppose that's a bit like if you get plastic surgery to make you look younger than your years and you look stupid. So maybe there is an argument for letting your teeth rot a little bit, but not too much. Has to be some happy medium. Anyway, I meant to say, do I sound any different now because I've brushed my teeth with a very minty toothbrush? My speech feels very fresh. Fresh, I suppose it probably doesn't make any difference to the audio, but I can feel minty fresh. Well, not about as minty fresh as you can get with a Lidl imported cheap brand toothpaste, which I'm not going to buy again next time. I can tell you can be damn sure to Christ as hell there'll be no more of that Lidl they get you in with the fake German stuff on it. They put these German brands and then they tell you, oh, it's just the same as the good brands over here. It's just that they're from over there. That's the only reason you don't recognise the brand. No, the reason you don't recognise the brand is because it's fucking made up. They got some child to make a They got some child to make a Lego or something, or as an art project in school probably. I don't know. Oh, that reminds me, I have a new thing on my desk here. I have stick-on some sort of stick-on paper thing that you can stick to anything and it becomes a blackboard. So I've drawn a cat on it with chalk. So we might have fun with that later if we ever get tired of the harmonica. Anyway, suffice to say, I brushed my teeth. And I'm now one step further away from having no teeth. I've extended my teeth life, hopefully, by a bit. Although I didn't eat it, I eat anything this morning. I did, but nothing of any significance orally, teeth health related. I don't think. Is toast harmful to your teeth? I don't think so. Had some coffee, had some toast. Had some milk in the toast, not in the toast, in the coffee. Had some sugar. You're probably not supposed to have sugar if you want teeth. But it was a brown sugar. It was the healthy kind. Brown sugar. What's that they say? Brown sugar. It's good for your heart. The more you eat, the more... Oh, no, that's beans. That's beans. That's only if you're 12 years of age and you believe everything you hear in a vulgar poem. No. There's probably adult versions of that, though. There's ones that go, don't eat sugar that looks like beans. Just get normal beans. Because you're grown up, you can afford beans. You don't need to be replacing your beans with sugar. Although there are bean-related recipes that use sugar. There's that tomato and green bean thing that I'm thinking of making tomorrow. That involves half a spoon of sugar, but no more than that, I can tell you, unless there's beans in. There's probably sugar in the beans naturally, but that's a different thing. Natural sugar is fine. It's the artificial sugar that's bad for you, because it's made of crap. They make it out of so if it's not naturally occurring in fruits, then they've made the sugar probably out of fucking iron and steel and wood chippings and whatever they put into sausages and all that sort of crap. I suppose as long as it tastes okay, it can't be all that bad. Nature knows that if there's something you're not supposed to eat, all it has to do is give it a bad taste and a bad smell, and then you won't eat it. That's why things go off. Anyway, suffice to say, good morning.